With all the years of experience that you have, what would be that one piece of advice that you would want to give to the graduating class?
Remember, reach out to whoever you think can intellectually stimulate you. What can they say no? They can say no, right? That's all.
Yeah.
What's your worry?
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose by asking. Okay, I got so much by asking all the top professors that it enriched me at that stage. 2007, we had a bad battery crisis. We handled that very well. 2008, we became India's most trusted brand. That was a shock for Economic Times. Economic Times called us and said, this has not happened in 70 years. The top 10 list was always dominated by FMCG brands. They said, for the first time, we see a technology brand. Today, 7 of the top 10 brands are technology brands. Like a good CEO, I thought of writing about emerging markets because I had led emerging markets, 92 countries for Nokia. I thought about how multinationals work. All rubbish titles, which only I was excited by. If I had written a book on that, it would have sold 4-5 copies because nobody is interested in that. Change to get to the top. Change yourself in terms of your emotions, in terms of your outlook, etc. Change your skill set. Change your industry. And that is the way you'll get to the top to realize your potential.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of Leaders Unplugged. I am Muskan Andani and I am a student of ISB PGP class of 2026. Today we have with us someone who truly needs no introduction. He hails from the city of Bangalore but has his influence across global boardrooms. He has imprints on few of the world's largest giants. He has led companies like Nokia, PepsiCo, Unilever and now serves as an operating partner at Advent International. Mr. Shiv Shivakumar. Welcome, Mr. Shiv.
Thank you, Muskan. Wonderful to be here with you. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure to host you. Your journey is so rich and I have so many questions to ask to you.
Please go ahead.
So I'll just start with the first one. You have completed your education from 2 of the most prestigious institutions of India. If you had to pick that one memory that still brings smile to your face, what would that be?
Let's take good story from my side when I used to do it. Okay, but it's worth telling the story. When I was in business school at IIM Calcutta, you won't believe this, okay? There was no internet, none of the stuff that you have today, okay? In the late 80s. I used to write, believe it or not, to Philip Kotler, to Peter Drucker, to Benson Shapiro, to Yoram Wind, all the big professors of universities in America, okay? I would read about them in Harvard Business Review or the Marketing Journal or Advertising Weekly, and I would copiously write to them. And I would say, look, I'm a student. I'm extremely interested in what you have to say. Can you please send me your articles? You won't believe it. Even today, I have all those articles filed. Ted Levitt's all articles in a file, Michael Porter's, Peter Drucker's, everybody. And my classmates used to rip the living daylights out of me. They would say, this guy is only talking to professors, he's only writing, he's not interested in anything, etc. So I was the butt of many a joke because of that hobby of mine. But it benefited me immensely. Over years, I was in correspondence with Drucker, over years. And it was his greatness that he indulged in correspondence with somebody who was a nobody sitting out in India as a business school guy and then in Unilever. And Drucker was actually kind enough to say, would you like to come across for a week to Santa Clara? And you can attend classes or do what you want. But, the money those days to travel and the thing, and you can't take off from work. So I decided not to do it. But that's a story which very few people will do. The lesson for all young graduates is, remember, reach out to whoever you think can intellectually stimulate you. What can they say no? They can say no, right? That's all.
Yeah.
What's your worry?
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose by asking. Okay, I got so much by asking all the top professors that it enriched me at that stage.
You're giving us ideas on what we need to do here at ISB.
You must.
Yes.
Nothing wrong in it. In today's world, you're even better connected.
Yeah. So you have led institutions like organizations across diverse industries from conglomerates, FMCG, and now private equity. And to an outsider, it looks like a masterclass in constant reinvention. For many of us at ISB, we are at the edge of making critical career decisions, be it choosing industries or roles or countries. How did you approach these decisions in your life?
Yeah, so my thing was very simple. When I studied, I wanted to be the best at marketing. So I read every single article, some good, some rubbish, whatever it is, everything to read. To tell you a joke, I was in a consumer behavior class with Professor Pradeep Kakkar, and I had read an article saying you shouldn't use humor in food advertising. So he was talking about advertising, and I wanted to maybe show. I put up my hand, and he asked me, "So what's the question, Shiv?" So I said, "I've read that, you should not use humor in food advertising. What do you have to say to that?" He looked at me squarely in the eye and said, "Shiv, I suggest you stop reading crap." So I used to read a lot to wanting to be the best in that field. Over years, I recognized that being a master of one discipline is not good enough. If you want to be a general manager, and which is what the big OD guys and the big HR people will tell you, you need a T-shaped model. 1 or 2 depth and then width across the board, which is what actually a business school teaches you. Okay. So then I got much more interested in all the other things. I would constantly look at trends outside. I never saw myself as being confined by the boundaries of one industry. I refused to be constrained by the boundaries of one industry. I was always looking for saying, how can I think and add to my skill base so that I don't get typecast as this industry guy. And when you go as a newbie to a new industry, people say, what does he know? We've been in this industry for 10, 15 years. So one of the things I did going into every industry was I learned a lot. It forced me to, every time I moved industry, it forced me to learn a lot. So my advice to ISB students would be, don't let an industry box you. Your skills have to be unboxed for very different industries and not just for one industry. If you are only in one industry, it's unlikely that you will be a thought leader of society and business. You might be a thought leader of your industry, but not of society and business.
Agreed. So speaking about your move from Unilever to Nokia, so Nokia has been one of the iconic chapters of your life. And I mean, when I was a child, phone practically meant Nokia to me. And you were the face behind making it #1 in India. How did you do that? How did you build such a trusted brand? And if you had to do it all over again today in this digital first world, how would you do it differently?
Yeah, so I personally think Nokia was a fantastic company. Of all the firms I've worked in, I have absolutely no hesitation in saying that Nokia's culture was miles ahead of everybody else. Not ordinarily, but big miles. And a lot of the credit for that should go to the Finns. The Finns are very, very good people. Very good people. Okay. To them, as long as you worked for the good of the company, nothing stopped you. You could argue till kingdom comes, as long as you're arguing for the good of the company. So they didn't take personal fights or personal arguments to heart. They would say, okay, fine, you have your view, that's okay, fine, let's move on. So some of the things I think we did very well in Nokia is we invested in assets which we knew could be replicated. We invested in brand. We invested in distribution. We invested in people. Okay. Investment in people. We went to the market telling people, look, we want to be a $4 billion company. And we became a $4 billion company in 2010 or so. And we were India's largest multinational. And we said, we want to build a $4 billion company. You are the CEO of a $1 billion company. But we believe you can come. And we are much less than $1 billion at that point of time. And people came for that journey. People said, wow. And when we got them in, we tried to build a culture which was absolutely seamless, effortless. Today we talk of work from home. Nokia had work from home philosophy in 2006. Not today, okay, 2006. Every company prides itself on not having a union in some factory, etc. When we talked about this to the Finns, they said nothing doing. We want a union. Workers have their rights. So doing good for everybody in the ecosystem was a very integral part of what Nokia was. And we consistently worked with our ecosystem partners by being very honest and truthful. We would enter the room with the facts, exit the room with the facts. There was no, puffery attending the meeting or going out of it. Okay, so I think Nokia was the son of the telecom ecosystem. The SUN, the son of the telecom ecosystem. Everybody wanted it to do well. So in 2008, 2007, we had a bad battery crisis. We handled that very well. 2008, we became India's most trusted brand. That was a shock for Economic Times. Economic Times called us and said, this has not happened in 70 years. The top 10 list was always dominated by FMCG brands. Lux, Colgate, this, that, etc. They said, for the first time, we see a technology brand. Today, 7 of the top 10 brands are technology brands. But remember, in 2008, it wasn't so. So they said, hey, this is a completely marvelous achievement. So we got Keith Pardee, who was the head of marketing globally, to write an article on why Nokia is the most loved brand globally, because he'd done a lot of studies on that. So that was a wonderful article. So we took a lot of pride. I think essentially why Nokia won was we had a great culture. At that point of time, Nokia was far more innovative than anybody else. We are street side of everybody else. The kind of stuff we talk about today, digital payments. We pioneered digital payments in 2008-9. It was called Nokia Money. We test marketed in Pune. Okay, Nokia Life Tools, music on the phone. Okay, all the apps. Okay, education, every single thing we tested them. Unfortunately for Nokia, we went and chose the wrong operating system, which was Windows. A 32-share handset brand chose a 4-share operating system brand. So that marriage with Microsoft was a disaster. It was made in hell, not even in heaven, anywhere. Okay, and after that, there was no chance for Nokia to come back.
But not every time it is about the momentum. Sometimes it's about the resilience. So many a times you would have faced challenges in your journey. You would have felt that, okay, something there would have happened that would have tested you as a leader. So if you had to pick that one incident that was really difficult for you, and what was that one lesson that it taught you that stays with you still now?
There are many, many difficult moments right through my career. The most testing moments invariably happen outside the organization. Inside the organization, you're still in control. Nokia in 2007, August 14th, we had a battery called BL5C. And that battery, 46 million of them, one batch, we said could bulge and could overheat. So Nokia issued a product advisory. In our wisdom, and I think it was wrong, I'll admit it today, me and Poonam Kaul, who was the comms director, we told Nokia on a phone call at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Singapore time, it was 11:30 India time, saying, do not do this advisory in India. Nokia being Nokia said, nothing doing, Shiv. This advisory is for the world. We are not shy. We are not lying. We're telling the truth. We'll tell it everywhere in the same manner. As soon as I landed, I saw there were 10 missed calls from Poonam Kaul. So I called her back and said, hey, what's happening? It's 10:30. She said, you better come to the office. I said, why? She said, the whole management team is sitting here. We're having hell. The media is saying bomb in your pocket and all kinds of things. And the product advisory is gone all over the place. We're just in deep trouble. Okay, we better handle this. I said, okay. On the way to the office from the airport, which took me about 30 minutes, I called Mr. Parigi, who used to be the director of Times. I called Partha, who used to be the editor of Business World, who was from IIM Calcutta. And I called another journalist. And I asked them. The moment I called them, they said, we know why you called us. And they said, Shiv, whatever you do, remember one thing, the media is not your friend. So you better handle this, right? Whatever you do, say the same thing again and again. Okay, be true to your story. Okay, don't expect the media to do you any favors. Then we went, sat down with the management team. We drew out 12 things to do in the next week. 11 of them we did in 48 hours. And the 12th one was, if everything fails, we need a celebrity too. Okay. I think a week later, I was on Arnab Goswami's show. He was in Times. Okay. I was saying, what is the truth? And then I told him the truth as it is. And so we handled that really, really well. And when I was going through that, I remembered Tylenol case study, because you studied that in business school. I thought of all the case studies which CEOs had handled, some well, some really badly, etc. We took, I think, 3-4 weeks to get it under control. It was really tough because we wanted to do everything locally so that we quelled it. The Finns finally said, yes, do it that way. We don't want to interfere in what you do. I remember going and meeting Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, who was in the Prime Minister's office, Minister of State. He said, look, India is growing up. Product recalls will be an example of the future. Don't worry about it. We know what Nokia is doing is right, etc. I was just amazed at the maturity of the government and all the scientific body when we went and approached them and told them the story. So we handled it. Long story short, 2 outcomes of that, which are very positive outcomes, which lasted Nokia for many years. Because of the way we handled that crisis, which was a really tough crisis, that 1 month was hell, I can tell you that. We became India's most trusted brand next year. And we held that for some time. And the next thing which happened, while we finished it in 4 weeks' time, because we had that item number 12 saying, get a celebrity in case things go wrong, we had already budgeted for it. We told Finland that we're going to have some expenditure, we're going to get a celebrity, etc. And they said, okay, that's fine, don't worry, get this under control. Because we had the money, we said, okay, let's get Shah Rukh now. Okay. Then Shah Rukh came on board at that point of time in 2007. That his campaign was one of the best campaigns for Nokia, which is, he says, 15 years of my life, if there's one thing which is constant, which is Nokia. Okay. Now, because that happened, Shah Rukh was bidding for KKR. So next year he came back and said, hey, would you guys like to sponsor this team? And we sponsored that, and that sponsorship went on for 12 years. So there were some great outcomes of that personal crisis that I went through, but I learned a hell of a lot. That really tested not just me, but the whole management team.
How were you able to differentiate between people who don't put, who put their personal interest above the company's interest?
Yeah, so I think constantly urging them, nudging them in terms of why is the company failing when you're winning? Because I always believe that you will win if your company wins. For example, if ISB brand value goes up, Muskan, your brand value goes up. Now, your brand value cannot go up with ISB brand value going down.
Yeah.
That maturity is something which a lot of leaders lack. They think it's about themselves. So you need to tell them that, however good you are, it's not about yourself.
Yeah.
It's beyond yourself.
Beyond yourself.
That is, you need to coach people, etc. Some people get it, some people won't get it.
Okay. I have read few of your writings and your thoughts that you put on LinkedIn, and I've also seen that you have written a few books like The Right Choice, and there's one more coming in July. And all this you did while you were having demanding jobs to do. So what inspired you to write a book? And is there any moment where it clicked that, okay, this needs to be said?
Nothing like that. See, years ago, I think one of the publishers walked into my room and said, hey, Shiv, we'd like you to write a few books, write a book, etc. I said, yeah, but I never got around to doing it. Then one fine day, my current editor, Radhika Marwa, she's from Penguin, wonderful lady. She walked into my room and said, Shiv, I'm not taking no for an answer. You have to write a book. That's it. Now, okay, we will do the contract, etc., but you're writing a book for Penguin. No discussion. So, and how life takes you, it's a surprise. So I said, okay. So then I debated long and hard. So like a good CEO, I thought of writing about emerging markets, because I had led emerging markets, 92 countries for Nokia. I thought about how multinationals work. All rubbish titles, which only I was excited by. If I had written a book on that, it wouldn't have sold 5 copies, because nobody is interested in that. Then one day I was sitting with my wife and saying, look, I'm grappling with what should I write about. I've committed to Penguin, I'll write, but I'm grappling with that. Then she said, look, you do a number of these speeches for the various schools, business schools and companies, etc. What do people ask you? And I said, they ask me about a number of dilemmas. Should I do an MBA? Should I do a second MBA? Should I go back to my old company? Should I go and work abroad? Should I stay in the same function? Should I move with my boss? So she said, why don't you write about that? So I thought about it. So then I put down the dilemmas which people go through at various stages of their career. And I bounced it off my mentor, Ram Charan, he said, it's an excellent idea, Shiv, nobody's written about it. So that's how I got to write the first book. After the first book did very well, it was a bestseller, I think, in 3 minutes or so. Okay, then I took a break of about 18 months or so, and then I thought about it. Then I wrote The Art of Management, okay, again, which was another bestseller. Okay, I wrote both with Penguin. Now I'm on the Penguin board. So I'm telling you, different connections work out. That's the point I'm trying to make to you.
Yeah.
I never started by saying I'll go to the Penguin board, but that's where you end up because you've done something along the way. So I'm writing my next book. It's, I think the final print is getting ready this week. It will be launched formally by July 25th. I'm not going to reveal it because my editor has said no. But one thing my editor Radhika has said is, Shiv, between the 3 books, this is the best of the 3. And it has your voice and it has the best examples of what a leader should do. So wait for it, July 25th.
Okay. So assuming this is the graduation ceremony of ISB PGP class of 2026.
That's your class?
Yeah. And with all the years of experience that you have, what would be that one piece of advice that you would want to give to the graduating class?
Good question. If I were to sum it, I've done close to 40 commencement speeches and convocation speeches in my career so far over the last 10, 12 years. I would say change to get to the top. Okay? Let me explain that. Change to get to the top. Change yourself in terms of your emotions, in terms of your outlook, etc. Change your skill set. Change your industry. And that is the way you'll get to the top to realize your potential. That's what I would say. That would be the theme of my speech if I were to speak to your class.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this advice. Moving on to the final fun and the final segment.
Oh, okay.
It's called In 5 Words. So I would be giving you the name of a country or a company or an organization, and you have to describe it in 5 words.
5 words, oh my God, okay.
So shall we start?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So first one is PepsiCo.
PepsiCo, I'd say, being challenged on relevance.
So the next one would be Zerodha.
Bold ideas, think about India.
Next one is Tata.
Great institution, needs consumer thinking.
And what about India in next 5 years?
I think great potential, don't get arrogant.
And the final one is ISB.
ISB, absolutely, thought leader in management education. You've left all the people, the IIMs, everybody far behind. Your premium is at 100% to the fees paid of any other institute. The kind of work that you guys have done, hats off. Okay, I know I see all the results that you've done. I think ISB is a great made in India story for the world.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shiv, for your time. It's been a wonderful conversation. I enjoyed this conversation so much, and there was so much to learn. Thank you for giving your time to us. It's been
My
an
pleasure.
amazing experience.
I enjoyed doing this. ISB, I've come here every year for the last 15 years. I enjoy coming here. Thank you.